So you've done your research, you've watched all the videos, you went out and you purchased yourself a 16-inch MacBook Pro. Screen size is great, power is fantastic, but it's a little bit weighty. So what do? There's a MacBook Air that's out there that's a bit lighter and a bit smaller. This unit is about to be replaced, and everyone's wondering what's coming next. I have an idea for the next machine that Apple should give to us, and I think you may agree with me. So you've got your MacBook Pro, but you find that it's a little bit weighty. It's definitely more powerful, but it's a little bit weightier than what we had before in the 2019 and the 2020 16-inch versions. We know the performance of the M1 MacBook Air has been pretty good. Battery life is also excellent. However, it's lacking in the screen department. Now, don't get me wrong, the power in this thing is pretty good. Does it rival the MacBook Pro or the Macs? No. It has an 8-core CPU while those have a 10-core CPU. The GPU is 8-core and the other ones go from 16 up to 32. So you're looking for something somewhere in between. You're not that power-hungry person, but you want something that's more on the thin and light side. However, you're looking for that bigger screen. While Apple gave us the 14-inch version and it's pretty darn good, I checked it out at the store. The weight isn't too bad, and I like the way that they push the screen to the edge, so that way you have more screen real estate. How would you feel if you could have a MacBook Air with a 15-inch screen? Let's talk about that for a moment. If you own the MacBook Air 16-inch, you realize that the screen real estate is slightly improved over the other one, but it fits a lot more information inside of it. And you wonder to yourself, why doesn't Apple give us a 15-inch MacBook Air? A lot of people have been thinking the same thing. Over the years, PCs had machines with bigger screens that are just not powerful, but they have the screen real estate for those people who want to have something that can fit more information on the screen. A lot of people just do a lot of browsing, some video editing, some photo editing, so you don't need maximum power. However, what Apple has done with the M1 chip has given us a device that can do 4K videos. With new cameras coming online, we're always looking for something that can give us even more performance. And some of us prefer that performance in a smaller form factor. The length of it is not too bad because the screen size actually helps when you're doing video editing. Now you imagine if Apple gave us a MacBook Air utilizing the form factor of the old MacBook Pro 15-inch. Now take that into consideration for a moment. You have something that's almost as wide as this, but probably is going to be about half the thickness. That means more battery inside of it because you're not using a tapered chassis anymore. You're going with a flat type design, which allows them to put more battery inside of it. And whatever chip they come up with next to put inside that 2022 machine, whether it's going to be an M2, M1X, or whatever they call it in the future, we know for a fact that it's going to be more powerful than the outgoing MacBook Air. So, if they could give us something slightly bigger, I think that would aid with heat dissipation. Doesn't have to have a fan in it because we want that thin chassis. But having that extra space means that there's more room for the heat to dissipate inside the machine. So you can leave the fan version for the MacBook Pro, and from what I'm hearing, they're going to make the 13-inch into a 14-inch. Great. I think that fits and helps a lot more people. But again, what about the Air? Should it always be the base model with the smaller screen, or is there room in Apple's lineup to fit a 15-inch version in there? I think there is. If Apple went this route and gave us something with a bigger screen and a thinner machine, I'm pretty sure, like me, a lot of you out there would like that type of machine. What do you think? Is this something you'd be willing to pay money for? Is it something you'd like Apple to produce? Apple is a few months away from producing this machine. As we know, Apple sometimes works on things and decides to scrap it later on. But I think if we can generate some momentum on this, who knows? Maybe they will produce something like that. If not now, maybe at some point in the future. I doubt they're going to put something out in March, because usually they're going to put it out in around November time frame. It'll be about 2 years with the M1 Air, so it'll be time for replacement. And I think it's a pretty good amount of time for Apple to start thinking about if there's something that they can do for us. And I think if we poke them enough, we can probably get what we want. So to wrap up, if you're in the camp of a 15-inch MacBook Air, put a comment down below. Let's talk about it some more. So that's my take and what I think Apple should do with regard to a bigger MacBook Air. Thanks for stopping by the channel. I hope to see you again in the future. Thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe if you love it. See you later.